public school ratings and the best online tools for your research, plus the 2 New Braunfels-area school districts right after this annoying intro. Hello and welcome to my channel, everyone. I'm Tony Freese. Today I'm in front of a building that was once one of the first tax-funded schools in Texas. A little later in the video I'll talk about it and the 2 local New Braunfels school districts of today. How good are they? Also, there was an interesting news story about their mask policies, so stick around for that if I've piqued your curiosity. First, I know getting the kids back in class across the country is on everyone's mind. In-person learning, masks, no masks, vaccines, not to mention a lot of you are moving or you want to move and you need to make sure the schools are going to be good. Beyond all of the pandemic clutter, you got a lot to look at. So if you have kids and you're moving, I'm sure you've probably already been doing your research. Good for you. Maybe I'm a little late for the next school year, but since these videos stick around, at least I hope they do, I thought I would go ahead and highlight a few online tools to help parents research the quality of schools and school districts in the United States. Links will be posted in the description below. So let's go. In the past, I've used greatschools.org quite a bit. It's a nonprofit whose mission is empowering parents to unlock educational opportunities for their child. They use a mix of student progress from one year to the next, college readiness measures, an equity rating, and test scores. Read more about that on their website. On the home page, you can type in a city, school, or district, right? So if I type in New Braunfels, a map pops up with all the schools. If I only wanted to look at high schools, click this. You can zoom in a little bit. Click on the little pins here. Here's New Braunfels High School with their overall score of 8 and a brief description. Down here is Canyon High, which is part of Comal ISD. They get a 6. Let's go ahead and click this and get some detail. So here you get individual scores for those measurements I rattled off a second ago. Student progress, college readiness. Looks like their low equity rating is probably what brought down their overall score. And finally, the test scores. This can all be fairly useful information depending on what you're looking for. Another well-known site is niche.com, which is great for public schools, but it does a little bit more than that. You can look up colleges, grad schools, find the best place to live or work. Maybe you're looking for investment opportunities for rent properties and you're not necessarily looking for A ratings, but B's or C's. This will do that for you. But we're here to look for schools, so let's click this one. For K through 12, they use graduation rates and state-level test scores. Surveys from parents as well as surveys from students and recent alumni, along with other things like disciplinary and athletic data. If I want to find out the best schools in all of Texas, I can type it up here and then we can look at it on a map. Okay, so after a quick wait, I think all the A+ schools will pop up. Looks like they're in Dallas and Houston, a few in Austin and San Antonio. But what if you were looking for something else? Maybe you've got a potential football star and you want to know what's best for athletes. So you've got other filters here. Here we go. And see a couple of B-rated schools. You know, they're good for athletes. You can also get an overall score for an entire city. New Braunfels gets an A for athletes on the whole. Let's switch back to best schools and look up an individual school. Let's see what they give Canyon High. Looks like their map placement was just a little bit off, I think. So they get an A-, and we have this compare feature. So let's type in New Braunfels High School and see how Niche compares the two. Niche rates Canyon higher than New Braunfels High School. That's different than what Great Schools was doing. So like I said, it depends on what your priorities are. I think Great Schools had a problem with Canyon's equity or something. I think if you're concerned with younger kids, the Educational Opportunity Project at Stanford University is pretty helpful. Their data is based on the standardized accountability tests in math and reading administered every year by each state to all public schools in grades 3 to 8. So it looks like the last time I was here, I was checking out New Braunfels ISD. It popped up automatically. I've been talking about the 2 school districts in our town, and here you can see that a little bit more clearly. This is New Braunfels ISD, and this is Comal ISD. It basically surrounds it. If we click inside one of these, let's hit New Braunfels and get some detail. You can see how the scores compare with the rest of the U.S., what the average is and the trends. It also shows you the scores and trends of subgroups. Remember, this is district-wide for elementary kids, and you can compare districts. So we have New Braunfels ISD up, and we can bring in Comal. It looks like both districts do a little better than the national and state averages. And looky here, if I zoom out, I can see the neighboring districts. And finally, if you're just looking at Texas, the Texas School Guide has rankings calculated using a Student Achievement Index, a Campus Performance Index, and a Growth Index. It's powered by Children at Risk, which is a nonprofit organization that conducts research to understand trends and inequities, resources, and opportunities. They'll make adjustments for economically disadvantaged students, for instance. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, check it out. TexasSchoolGuide.org. The original New Braunfels Academy was an independent school that taught up to 220 students a year, 5 years and older, and employed 3 to 6 teachers between 1858 and 1892. Most classes were conducted in German, and the textbooks were issued in German and English. Today, the greater New Braunfels area has 2 districts. According to some of the tools I've described, New Braunfels Independent School District is above average. It has a little over 9,000 students in grades PK through 12, with a student-teacher ratio of 17 to 1. The average in Texas is 15 to 1. According to state test scores, 57% of students are at least proficient in math and 55% in reading. There's a 95% 4-year graduation rate, 100% of the full-time teachers are certified, and 96% have 3 or more years of experience. The average teacher's salary is $49,408 a year. My wife, a former New Braunfels High School English teacher, wanted me to mention as an aside that a lot of the students were issued Apple laptops a couple of years ago with all of the lessons loaded, so that when remote learning was instituted last year, the kids had something of a leg up and the transition wasn't so bad for a lot of them. Comal Independent School District is also highly rated. It has almost 24,000 students in grades PK through 12. A student-teacher ratio of 16 to 1, and according to state test scores, 66% of students are at least proficient in math and 61% in reading. They've also got a 95% 4-year graduation rate, 100% of the full-time teachers are certified, and 56% have 3 or more years of experience. But the average teacher experience is 11.9 years, so a lot of newbies, but quite a few old-timers as well. Average teacher salary is $52,515. A recent article in the Texas Tribune got me thinking about the differences between the 2 districts and inspired me to make this video. The Tribune compared the mask policies of the 2 school districts going forward since Governor Abbott lifted the statewide mandate a couple of months ago. It's really pretty interesting reading. I'll link to it also in the description. In essence, Comal ISD is letting them be optional, and New Braunfels ISD is sticking with the masks for now. They'll go optional after the summer for the 21-22 school year. The Tribune article boils the mask argument down to politics and personal freedoms, just like everywhere else in the country. Now keep in mind, the Comal demographic is made up of wealthier folks and a lot of the rural territory surrounding the city, and the New Braunfels ISD includes the city center and probably a more diverse population. It was interesting to me because the Tribune, a left-of-center outfit, no matter what they say, acknowledged that this whole area is Trump country. 70% voted that way. So it's not really a left versus right issue. The Tribune said that the fight is more about moderate conservatives versus those on the far right. Again, I just thought that the whole story, from the mask debate to the differences between the districts to the angle of the report itself, was interesting enough to put out there, no matter how you fall down on the issues. I hope you found this video helpful. I usually talk about living and playing in between Austin and San Antonio, so if you're looking for that kind of content and you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and maybe give me a little like. It helps a lot. And of course, if you're looking to buy or sell in the area, give me a call, text, or email, days, nights, or weekends. You know what that means. Time to go. See you next time.